All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to talk about something that's, well, one of the most critical environmental challenges of our time: deforestation. It's this huge battle being waged in the canopies way above our heads. And as we're about to see, it's a fight that's really going to define our future. So, when we picture a forest, it's so much more than just a bunch of trees, right? I mean, we're talking about these incredibly complex ecosystems that are absolutely vital for keeping our planet stable. They're literally the lungs of the Earth, breathing in massive amounts of carbon dioxide. And that stability we all kind of take for granted, well, without healthy forests, it's just not a guarantee. So, what is deforestation exactly? Well, at its simplest, it's when forests are permanently cleared out. And let's be clear, this isn't some natural cycle we're seeing. It's a direct result of human activity. Clearing land to make way for farms, for cities, for grazing. It's a complete transformation of the landscape, and it's happening on a massive scale. And that brings us to a pretty stark and honestly personal question. If these forests really are the lungs of our planet, what happens to us when they can't do their job anymore? I mean, what happens when we literally can no longer breathe? To really wrap our heads around where we are today, we first have to look back. We need to understand the world that we've already lost. So let's take a quick journey into the past to see what's vanished. It's almost hard to imagine now, but just 100 years ago, huge parts of our planet were covered by these massive, uninterrupted rainforests. And deep within them, indigenous communities lived in this incredible balance with nature. They understood a truth that we're only now starting to relearn, that their survival, and by extension ours, is completely tied to the health of the forest. And this quote, it really hits you with this powerful sense of lost opportunity, doesn't it? The big takeaway here is that our current situation, it wasn't inevitable. It didn't have to be this way. If industrial societies had just adopted more sustainable practices, we might have saved thousands of species from going extinct and protected the homes of countless indigenous peoples. Okay, so that brings us to right now, to our very precarious present. The scars we've left on the planet today are so big they're visible from space, and the damage is happening at a speed and a scale that is just staggering. And make no mistake, the consequences here aren't just isolated problems. No, it's more like a domino effect. We're talking about a profound and interconnected chain reaction that seriously impacts the entire globe. So let's actually break down what that domino effect looks like. First off, when you clear forests, you get severe soil erosion, which can turn fertile land barren. This then messes with the delicate water cycles that supply our fresh water. And, of course, it leads to a catastrophic loss of biodiversity. I mean, entire species getting wiped out forever. And maybe the most alarming part. As we push deeper into what used to be wild habitats, we're increasing our exposure to new and dangerous infectious diseases. You might hear some people argue that these climate shifts are just part of a natural cycle. But here's the thing. The data shows the warming we're seeing right now is happening way too fast to be explained by natural forces alone. And when you look at the forests themselves, you can see these geometric patterns of destruction, clear visual proof of direct human intervention on a massive scale. This quote just perfectly captures the shock of it all. When you actually look at the satellite images, the huge swaths of clear cutting, the burn scars, it doesn't look real. It honestly looks like something straight out of a dystopian movie. But this is where the story pivots. We are standing at a crossroads. There are two very, very different futures waiting for us. And the path we end up taking, well, that's not written yet. It's a choice we all have to make right now. And you can see that choice laid out right here. On one side, you have the cost of doing nothing. Our rainforests turning into fire-prone savannas and coastal cities getting swallowed by rising seas. But on the other side, you see the promise of change, a future powered by sustainable economies, where we're surrounded by protected woodlands, easing the immense pressure we've put on our planet. Now, I know this can all sound pretty dire, but this story is not without hope, far from it. Despite all the damage, there are seeds of hope being planted, and there is a clear path forward toward recovery. This simple but incredibly powerful idea is really at the heart of the solution. You see, despite everything we've done, these ecosystems have this inherent resilience. Nature has this profound ability to recover, to bounce back from the absolute brink, if we can just give it a chance. So how do we give nature that chance? Well, the path forward really involves 4 clear, actionable steps. It all starts with a fundamental shift in our global priorities. From there, we absolutely have to adopt new, sustainable ways of doing agriculture and forestry. The third step is to get behind all these incredible restoration projects that are already proving that you can turn barren landscapes back into vibrant habitats. And finally, we have to bring political will and scientific advancement together to really drive this change. When you get right down to it, it all boils down to this one question. It's a question of values. Can we, as international markets, as individual consumers, as entire nations, can we finally pivot? Can we decide that the planet's long-term ecological health is just as valuable, if not more so, than short-term profits?
Which brings us to our conclusion. The survival of our planet's canopies, it isn't just another environmental issue. It is the defining test for us as a species.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. What will our ancient forests become? Are we going to work to make sure they remain a living, breathing cornerstone of our global climate? Or are we going to let them become a tragic monument to our own inaction? The choice, in the end, is ours.